Welcome to another Baka commentary video. In this video will be an AMD news video focused. So, AMD announced that they have launched the R7 5700X, R5 5600, R5 5500, R5 4600G, R5 4500, R3 4100, and the last CPU that is probably going to be launched on this AM4 platform to take the CPU performance crown, the R7 5800X3D. On top of these new CPU launch, AMD has officially announced that the B300 series motherboard will now get AMD 5000 support, so your B350 and X370 will be getting AMD 5000 support should the motherboard manufacturer decide to, hey, let's give 5000 series support on these first gen AMD motherboards. On the other side of the new graphics card news, AMD new Super Resolution has launched. And unfortunately, this completely locks out the older architecture. It only works on the AMD RX 5000 cards. So, what is it? And it only works on RDNA 2 cards only. And then onto the not official AMD announcement, courtesy of Moore's Law's Dead. AMD will be launching 6000 series refresh. So what had he confirmed? 6950 XT, 6750 XT, RX 66050 XT, and RX 6400. Since I'm late to about this news, I'm not really going to be reading the spec sheet and just directly give you my opinion on it. The new desktop 5000 CPU finally launched, but it's at a basically end of life cycle of the AM4 socket. In my opinion, AMD's finally is be like, hey, we do have old customers with B300 with 300 series chipset. Hey, maybe we can finally make those 400, 500 series chipset owners. Yeah, they bought all the CPU they want. Now let's launch maybe a new CPU and let the BIOS roll out to the 300 series. I think AMD has finally been something clicked in their mind and be like, hey, why not let more people buy AMD 5000 CPUs? And with these new AMD CPUs that they're launching, I think they're not, hopefully they're not going into those crazy profit margin bullshit again and giving the customers some value, as most AMD X300 series chipset owners, we bought your platform for the value. What else? What I reckon has triggered AMD to launch these budget-friendly CPU? Their competitor has come out and swinging hot and basically taken over. If you were to completely rebuild your computer, AMD is no longer in the ballpark, and basically, AMD does not exist within the budget-conscious market. This could finally signal AMD, but I think AMD, you are a bit too late to this. You already have permanently lost a few customers that already sold off their whole rigs and just bought brand new motherboard CPUs and maybe even coolers. Now onto the 4000 series. I think these things are basically faulty laptop silicon that they just binned it down, or just to have graphics just completely not working, and basically they just stockpile a bunch of them, and now they are officially launching them onto desktop. Do I think they will keep restocking these? No. Just like how when they launched their Ryzen 3 3300X and a 3300. Basically, if you couldn't buy it, basically the only way to buy the R3 3300 and the X variant, you had to buy it day one within the launch period. They never really restocked it, as basically AMD didn't really want to intentionally bin down chips from the higher profit margin, or from the R5 or the R7 and even R9 down to the R3, where it's there's basically no profit in selling these R3 CPUs. So basically, yeah, if you're gonna buy these 4000 chips, you better buy them day one. Now, on to the AMD's last hurrah for the AM4 socket, the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D edition. What has been officially confirmed by AMD, it is this CPU will be locked for frequency overclocking. The only thing that is enabled for this is the Infinity Fabric, aka RAM overclocking, will be the only official support for this Ryzen 7 5800X CPU 3D edition. What's their official reasoning for it? Oh, that this 3D stacking cache thing is very voltage sensitive and very thermosensitive. If you put extra voltage or extra thermo load, it's not gonna be so good. Hence, they officially locked it down. What do I think? AMD just wants to lock it down so that their 7000 series, when they launch on whatever AM5 or whatever they call the next platform, they can have a massive, be like, hey marketing, look at all this improvement from our fastest chip from the AM4, the R7 5800X 3D edition. So yeah, if they maybe unlock the 5800X for overclocking, maybe those margin from the 7000 chip might be not as, as big, so that so more people would be doing the, hey, I'm gonna go upgrade to the latest greatest CPU again, time to ditch AM4 and get probably DDR5 PCIe 5.0. So AMD finally did something which I think is really consumer friendly, which is the promise and sticking to their promise of long AM4 socket support. For the 300 series, finally is allowed to support 5000 series officially, no longer some black market, back alley dealing secret BIOS. It is likely the 5000 series CPU, the last generation of it. So yeah. However, AMD, you did one step forward, two step backwards in terms of consumer friendliness, which I now move on to talk about the AMD Super Resolution. So this is a driver implemented upscaler. This AMD has locked it to only the RDNA architecture, or to, for less technical, RX 5000 series and newer GPU will be able to use this Super Resolution. For those people that are using the good old RX 400, 500 and the Vega series, well, you're out of luck. You're going to be using the FSR, the older upscaler. And this is in my opinion, AMD being very anti-consumer, as they want the people who are on their Vegas and their Polaris card that are still probably good and probably still gonna keep on trucking along. They want to give you users less features, so that one, they want you to start thinking, hey, if I want more features than maybe the new, encoder and everything, it's time to get the latest generation. Hey, and for those people that are that are not very technical and or just keep looking into the tech news and run into this video, the AMD Polaris Vegas, the RX 400, 500 Vegas series, yeah, they're pretty popular among the budget contest graphics card owners. A lot of them have been spying. Like some of the RX 400 series, they own them since launch, and it's been like 6, 7, 8 years graphics card, man. It's probably one of the best value you got out of those Polaris and even Vega cards, man. You went through 2 cycles of mining boom. You made like probably some pretty good money with them mining on the side. Basically, this is AMD brute forcing you older card owners to be like, hey, time to upgrade to the latest, greatest RDNA architecture graphics card. If you don't, we're gonna hold all this latest feature, which is really doesn't, which I think, which if you to be not technical, should not be exclusive, and does not have any hardware or software that isn't what's supported on the Polaris and the Vega card. They're basically just software locking you guys within the drivers. So screw you, AMD, for being anti-consumers. So now, on to their unofficial AMD announcement. So, according to Moslow's Dead, AMD will be updating the AMD RX 6000 lineup. The AMD new RX 6000 lineup refresh will be 6950 XT, the new flagship graphics card, 6750 XT, RX 6650 XT, and the RX 6400. The RX 6400 is OEM focused, so don't expect it to be within the DIY market widely available. As per the introduction of this thing, the 6950 XT is going to be the new flagship. We kind of had already the 6950 XT card already floating around in the market with the AIB models such as the Sapphire Toxic Limited Run Edition, where they just have 360mm AIOs and crank the memory speed and clock speed to really high. I think AMD basically gonna make a reference version of it, and maybe not fucking water cooling and maybe air cool the goddamn card. Which, in my opinion, if you're buying a water cooled or AIO cooled card, maybe if you're like upgrading like every generation, sure, you can go buy a AIO liquid cooled card. But if you're people like me who's gonna keep the cards 4, 5, 6 years, I think liquid cooling graphics card is stay way away. So I guess this is for those people who's gonna buy the flagship card and just gonna keep it for like 6 years. Now on to the 6750 XT. This, according to Moore's Law, is going to replace the RX 6800. Basically, AMD, I reckon, regretted, according to Moore's Law, regret selling RX 6800, which in my opinion is again best value graphics card out of all the RX 600 if it's at MSRP. 6750 XT, you are getting a downgrade, in my opinion. You go down from the flagship Navi 21 Navi die to now the mid-tier die. Yes, you are getting the full mid-range die, but you technically got a flagship die really cut down, but hey, who cares? You still got the flagship die. If you're like someone like me, who's I just want the cheapest flagship die card available. I guess, well, AMD's not going to be making any more of the RX 6800. Hence why, again, fuck you AMD for being anti-consumerism. Don't give your consumers good value. If you would want to get some reputation back, go make some RX 6800s. Sell them for goddamn MSRP. Yes, your profit margin isn't going to be the greatest, but guess what you will get back, AMD? You will get back some more customer trust and reputation and long-term people who will stick with AMD because, well, AMD, in my opinion, isn't a flagship killer. They are a value graphics card bargain bin basement. You, AMD, don't have the features to compete with your competitor with all that fancy AI bullshit that you, AMD, yeah, you guys have them, but you are not up to the competitor's quality. Hence why, stay down there, be a bargain bin basement. AMD, don't try to do what your competitor's doing. Be a fucking retard and overprice your goddamn product. And you, since you are also going to be charging people up the ass for these cards, you better have the best drivers and the latest feature that can compete with it. But unfortunately, you don't, so fuck off with that. You are not a premium graphics card manufacturer, AMD. Again, the RX 6500, RX 6650 XT, yeah, that's replacing the RX 6600 XT. Meh. Okay, give us more performance. 6400, don't really care about this graphics card. This graphics card likely to be used in some pre-built super budget system. Anyway, yeah, AMD, enough really ranting. I really hope with these graphics cards, you either make them cheaper, or if you're gonna replace them, give us more performance for the dollar. As I really don't see AMD being a premium graphics card manufacturer, as they don't have the premium features I want out of a graphics card. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this new format of Baka commentary video where there's no gameplay and just pure static image, and I will see you in the next video.